Well,
this plant
we are
plants.
back, and much like we told you last week, the prices are going up on all the fun things. So you had something specific to share regarding the DRAM prices and issues.
Oh yeah, namely that there's a lot of hope and coke going around on this, and we need to be wary of that. Specifically, there's the ASUS coming in saying that they might start selling RAM. That would come out of the 60% of uncut wafers um, that OpenAI has not hoovered up.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they didn't buy 40% of wafers now. They bought 40% of wafer capacity, so output through 2029.
Wasn't that
That's
nice?
a massive share. So that means that there's only two ways that the prices will come back down with people still being able to buy stuff. Um, two rational kind of outcomes here. One, OpenAI for some reason either resells DRAM or drops their claim, which these are things that are not going to happen. Or more fabs are built, which will take a couple years.
That it
So
would.
by the time 2029 rolls around, basically what'll happen is we're going to have to fix supply or demand on one side of this, one way or another. Consumer demand is going to continue to exist, but the data center demand is driving a lot of the price hikes, as well as the speculation on the 40% chunk of the market disappearing overnight. So that's basically OpenAI reserved those wafers. I don't know how the fuck they pulled that rabbit out of the hat, but they did. They did that to prevent their competition from eating up that chunk of industry. And
They did
so this
that.
is what happens. This is one of those things, and so under the original CHIPS Act, you're building more fabs. You can there's like a $10 billion um, offset of initial run-in taxes that they can just skip, like that, and then like a large payback period on loans needed. Like the original CHIPS Act had all that, and the Biden CHIPS Act's a little different, not as nice,
No.
and was more focused on specific companies.
NDEI.
And there was that bullshit. Like I said, so you take the original CHIPS Act, you kind of flatten it a bit, remove about a third of it, and then you sprinkle on some bullshit, and that was the Democrat answer. Which fine, whatever. We got through the original important thing of encouraging companies to invest wisely in the United States. Oh, that print's fucked. Just stop that.
That said, however,
Okay.
the whole thing had a whole bunch of anchors and baggage on top of it to make it
Yeah.
basically non-feasible.
So, the annoying thing is like the CHIPS Act had a lot of good stuff. The Democrats had to make it their own. Whatever. I don't care which party gets it through; they get it through. There's good stuff there. The issue that we have with the CHIPS Act as it stands is that it's not necessarily geared towards rising our capacity in the way that we need to. We're in an arms race now, kind of, on AI, and it'd be
That's true.
nice if we just treated it like the arms race that it is. We could spin out fabs. Like we're America, we can do construction. You know what I mean? We can get shit built overnight if we have to, but we have to actually have that urgency present or not. Either way, it has like pick one, right? And we clearly haven't done that just yet.
Nope.
So that does happen.
And like we were talking before we came on the air, there really isn't anything that ASUS can do unless they've been hiding a chip fab they've been trying to build or
Yeah,
unveil or
so that
something
was
over the past
specifically.
couple of years.
That
Because
was specifically.
that's
They
not
um,
that's not really a thing you can kind of throw together.
they're talking about being able to sell DRAM, entering into the market, so to speak, which is great. More competition is fantastic. The downside here, that would come out of that leftover 60% of those uncut DRAM wafers. So I'm glad that someone would be selling them here. That'd be great. Um, I'd love for them to get into that market. I just wish that it also came with more fabs. Now, it's not just fabs we need. We also need foundries because those silicon bulls
Oh yeah, you got to get
come
the
out of
wafers
nowhere.
from somewhere.
Yeah, and so it's not just the so the wafers. So the foundry is responsible for two things. One is producing the boule of pure silicon, and two is producing the wafers themselves, clipping them off the boule. The way they do that, they have a particle accelerator. They fire in protons. They deposit at a certain depth that causes a crack, and it just pops the really thin wafer right off. Fantastic. So the foundry does all that, more or less. So sometimes there's middlemen, yada yada yada. But end of the day, that's still an end of the supply chain we don't have here that we need to build. And a foundry is a lot easier to build out as an industrial area than an entire fab. We got plenty of sand in the United States.
We do.
We
We
can.
even have good sand.
We have plenty of good sand in the United States, and we have plenty of sand where it's not going to piss off a bunch of eco-freak hippies. To boot.
Well,
Like,
you
we've
say
got-
that. You say that now.
I don't give a flying fuck what they say later on. They can all be upset about it, and they can cry about it on their new iPhones. So, like, uh, so anyway, we got the raw materials here. Now, one thing we also have, which we're not using to our advantage on this, which we're going to have to, is you need a lot of carbon because there's one way to rip that oxygen off of that silicon. It's just one. Everything else is way more energy intensive or it just doesn't work. And the answer is you throw a bunch of carbon into the kiln with the silicon dioxide. A couple of additives to make things more fluid and run more easily, this, that, and the other, yada, yada. But the way to get molten silicon is to start off with molten sand and add in carbon and bubble out the CO2. So,
Sounds simple enough.
you can cry about carbon capture, this, that, and the other, whatever. It's frankly it's on a much lower scale than our energy industry. It's not going to be as crazy.
Would you say
and
it's
our
on a
energy
lower
industry-
scale than the Chinese coal burning industry?
Yeah, really. Anyway, the
maybe?
reason the Chinese so this actually carries over. We don't just need new fabs and foundries. We need new power plants, because we are going to stress the fuck out of our grid. We already are stressing our grid.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this reminds me, I need to throw the link into a couple places because people had asked. And there we go. Max had asked there, and I'm going to throw it for my friend too.
Oh sure.
Just to let them know we're doing stuff. All right. So anyway, we need nuclear plants. We need, it's just we can put together other kinds of plants for power generation. We're just not going to be able to meet demands unless we start throwing all our weight behind nuclear. So nuclear plants, we're going to talk about between 5 and 10 years for service to start
Well,
up.
I mean, to be fair,
We could do it shorter, but that's what regulations are going to throw us
Oh.
at right now.
well, actually,
Wanna do
I
a
was
big
going to say we
trend
could
for
use whatever it
blocks.
is that's powering the Tic Tacs, but also that. I mean, considering that
you
one
wanna-
maneuver requires basically all the power that everything on the Earth generates in a moment, but whatever.
So right now, as with current technology, we have a Gen 3 Plus plants. You have your Gen 3 Plus basically, and then you have Gen 4, which is still kind of being finalized by the NRC. But in general, in industry, in general, we have Gen 3 Plus plant designs that are, we already know the design works. We know what the requirements for the ground, the requirements for the water capacity, requirements for everything else. We just haven't had the political will to put those into service for whatever reason.
Well,
Now's the time.
obviously it's because nuclear's bad, and we don't want to make a Godzilla.
Well, 10 years ago is actually the time, but now is the time. Yesterday
Well,
is the
to be fair, 40 years ago was the time, but anyway.
Yes, and still, point stands, we need to get on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, better
because
late than
fabs-
never. And
fabs are going to
late
show up first.
late is definitely better than never.
So here's the deal on that. Fabs are going to show up first. and then we're going to have the data centers that are going to outstrip us on our energy capacity. We're not going to be able to supply enough power
True.
to adequately handle these stressors on our grid, and we're already seeing brownouts and blackouts, mind you.
Now, I do have some good news, actually. There's been $9 billion in new financing for a brand new nuclear power plant that's being built for Turkey by Moscow. You know.
So that's not helping us then.
Oh, no, I guess not.
No. So, yeah, so basically NRC needs to get off its ass and start approving some fucking contracts.
It'd be helpful. Be real helpful.
We really do need the extra energy capacity in our grid. We need extra power capacity in our grid. We're just not getting it. So again, like the fabs are going to come online. The AI new data centers are going to come online. We're not going to have enough to meet that. Like the estimation, by the way, previous, which I know you remember, was that the power required for AI was going to roughly match the present power of the entire country by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the amount of new generation capacity we have to come up with.
Yeah, basically at least double what we've got currently, yeah.
We need at least one extra America of electricity to power AI in this country.
Right now.
Yeah, that's the problem right now.
With AI where it is right now. With its usage.
No. This is projection. This is projection that is based off of estimates for new AI build out, which is good.
Oh, okay.
It's the 10-year projection. So
okay.
It does include the new build out. It does not include, however, the new fabs that are going to be built in, let alone any extra fabs that are built in to meet up with demand. So we gotta figure a way around that one.
Yeah.
Don't see how we're gonna do it yet.
Is a little bit of an issue. Yeah. It would be really helpful if, Jimmy Carter had ensured that he had a legacy of any type, but, he didn't really make sure that those plants got built, so here we are.
Well, yeah.
Now, I could be wrong, and I don't think I am, but if I'm remembering right, that was part of his whole thing, we're going to get power out there to people.
Yeah, didn't work. Needs to do better.
Well, he's busy now, so, not going to be able to get to that, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I hear.
Well, if they could, they'd get him out there to at least vote one more time, but it is what it is. You can't dig him back up to vote unless you just made sure not to close out the registration.
I'm sure he's got plenty of votes left in him.
Oh, I'm sure he does. It's just that one's probably a little bit high profile, and he wasn't a resident of Minnesota, so there might actually be some difficulty in that specific fraud. So yeah, mentioning Minnesota, there's
Minnesota.
There's been some things that happened out there. There's a journalist by the name of Nick Shirley. He's been visiting. He's been visiting businesses, very lucrative, very busy businesses, doing millions of dollars in business.
In fact, so many busy businesses. It's amazing that he found all of them in the same building. Well, several times.
Many. Well, yeah. That's the thing. It's found that had a theme of repeating itself.
Oh, did you not hear him in his docu where he mentioned that several of the businesses that were in the building he got kicked out of were also in the next building he went to?
Yeah. Yeah, it's real funny that way. So let me see here if I can get the.
Funny and infuriating.
Okay, yeah, I got it right here. The full 42-minute doc. I'll throw that as one of the top links here in the show links so that anybody can check that out. Because, yeah, it's 42 minutes of him going around finding out that all these places don't really want to talk to him about all their children that aren't there in their daycares and all their students that aren't there in their education centers. But just in the one day, which I think he went out there just before Christmas, he was able to expose, let me see here, just
110 million.
Yeah, 110.
And then there was a thing he did previous to that where it was some other ridiculous amount.
It was the Feeding Our Future one with the one that Ocasio-Cortez
not that one. There was anyway, several times he has delivered on recognizing and journalistically cataloging this series of fraudulent activities. Now, I do appreciate there's a concern that some of these may be legitimate, and so immediately listing them as fraudulent prior to establishing that concretely might work against him. But I've got a feeling that the fact that they couldn't see any fucking kids, and they weren't allowed, now to their credit, the one place, this is where I think they might trip him up. The one place did give him a quoted rate for little Joe Shirley.
The
one place.
That's not a really great
that's it.
Turnover rate, you know?
That's the one place. And you could tell, some of the people that they spoke to, you could tell some of them, a vanishingly small fraction, but some of them genuinely were trying to understand what he was looking for and if they could help him.
Well, I suppose that's something.
I appreciate that. That is genuinely a good thing. That there are people there that are doing as what you'd expect from, say, Americans. Just trying to help out other Americans. Guy shows up, says, "Hey, I need help." You're like, "Hey, yeah, we'll help you."
Oh, sure. Oh, and in other news-related things, I don't know. I feel like we didn't get to cover the whole Barry Weiss thing on the last episode, because I don't know if that had actually happened yet. But there was this segment on, what was it on? The Venezuelan deportations thing, yeah. So there was this segment that some of the reporters at, is it the Washington Post? Or the Free Beacon? No, 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes, yeah. So they had put together a segment on this Venezuela thing, and Barry basically pulled it in the last day or two before it was meant to go live, and then a bunch of people have leaked it and put it out there, unsurprisingly. But the thing about it is, it's bad reporting. Actually, they let me see here. So the people that put it together, they didn't report on the response at all, and as is usual, were very specific in their framing. So from Axios here, we'll just read out this little bit of the reporting on that. So zoom out. The changes come in the wake of controversy that saw her pulling a story about Trump administration's deportations of Venezuelan immigrants to an El Salvador prison, according to sources familiar with her plans. One of the main reasons Weiss cited for pulling the segments was that the 60 Minutes team didn't include any of the 3 on-record statements from the White House, State Department, and Department of Homeland Security that were provided to CBS News journalists. According to a source familiar with the 60 Minutes team's correspondence with the administration, journalists reached out to press officials at the White House, State Department, and DHS, all which provided comment ahead of the anticipated run date. None of those comments, once varied in length and substance, were included in the piece, which had been made public from a recording that was distributed via an app owned by Global TV, which airs 60 Minutes in Canada. Between the lines, the segment ends with the correspondent leading the piece saying DHS declined our request for an interview and referred all questions about CCOT to El Salvador. It does not reference any part of the over 300-word on-the-record comment from DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. So that's
Huh.
really bad reporting. That is basically
Yeah.
the heart and soul of bad reporting.
Fuck that up. What a flub.
So it looks like Barry Weiss was the right call for was that CBS? Yeah, CBS for running 60 Minutes, because it looks like she actually is bringing a little bit of credibility, even with whatever biases she may have. I'm genuinely glad to see something like that.
I'm kind of shocked about that, but that's
Honestly,
obvious.
yeah, a little bit. You know, maybe she actually does want to save the organization. It'll take some doing, and it'll take some time, but
Yeah,
acts
Barry
like this
has her
speak well.
issues, but good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And in other really dumb bullshit news, the food dye ban, I should say, the one out of West Virginia has been stop has been put to that.
Oh, it's been challenged.
It has.
How so?
Let me find the exact judge here who did that. Food dye ban. All right. So, federal judge blocks enforcement of West Virginia's food dye and additive ban. I hope that something terrible happens to her. Anyway, U.S. District Judge Irene Berger of the Southern District of West Virginia earlier this week granted a motion for preliminary injunction, a lawsuit filed by the International Association of Color Manufacturers. Order means enforcement of the law will be paused as the case moves forward. They have... How in the fuck are they going to have a right to say, no, you have to allow us to put this poison in foods that we sell in your state? How about just not fucking sell in the state? It's really just that easy. And to be fair, the ban doesn't even go into effect until 2028.
And it gives them time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what is it here? The statute, quoting from the IACM.
I mean, look, here's the thing: is say what you will about what you think about artificial colors, artificial flavors, et cetera, et cetera. Safety, this, that, and the other. Part of the issue, of course, is whether or not the industry has enough time to update its practices to match the law. And the fact is, that was given. There, several years is plenty of time. Obviously, they're gonna, they might run into an issue and say we need an extension. That's all fine.
Mm-hmm.
They had a working number. They had a number to work against. This is the horizon. Get there and get it done. That should have been enough to help them out. And again, multiple years. Like, this is something that someone could argue can be done in a couple months.
Yeah.
Now, that argument would be bad, but it would be an argument.
Now, to be fair, it wouldn't be the worst argument, because they do make these products, and they do make these versions of those products. So it's a matter of ramping down and ramping up. Now, can you do that on mass in a few months?
And ramping up,
maybe not in a couple months.
Ramping down is easy. Ramping up is not so easy. It depends on if you have the machinery and you have the capacity.
Oh, sure.
You have to build out, which is why multiple years is supposed to be enough, because that gives you a year of planning, a year of construction, and then you're online.
Mm-hmm. And they had a whole half year to put this case in. But whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. So at this point, I think that's the thing they should be working with. They should be trying to work with, not work against, because especially if they're still going to be getting the industry customers.
Oh my fucking god! Oh, you're gonna love this
for these materials.
You're gonna love this.
It's just saying, look, they're still gonna have industry customers, so you're gonna be able to charge more because they just had to put out this extra money for capacity. They're gonna be able to charge more because the processes to make these ingredients are more capital intensive. So I'm not seeing the part where they have a major downside aside from actually having to get off their asses and do the job. And they can even sell the capacity for alternative products, which are now banned, as a part of that. Again, do I think that all these bans are necessary? Not necessarily. Some of them might have some legitimate merit, some of them not. But beyond that, if they're trying to work with the industry, that's what they should be doing with. Well, again, exactly. What the customers want is part of it. If that's what the customers are saying, the company can bitch and whine, but Work with them.
The money is telling you to do this. Why are you shutting up? Why are you telling the money to fuck off?
Not only that, but the money is telling them we're willing to pay more for the more expensive products. We do not want the cheap product. Sell it elsewhere if you must.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't necessarily agree with all of the bans, all the restrictions, but like I get it.
Again, end of the day, it's what the customer wants. It is what the money says
Yes.
you should do. Do what the money
And
says you should do.
At that part, I'm on board. Like the listen to your fucking customer part, I'm on board with.
Now, anyway, to quote from this, or not even to, I'll just paraphrase here because I've read through the some of their statements here.
All right.
Oh, you'll love this. You'll love this. Their chief argument is that poisonous and injurious, which is the legal statutes in the ban, HB 2354. They're saying that
that's the kind of stuff I'd be frustrated with. But continue.
Well, without any clear standards, it is not clear how the WVDOH will determine if a color additive beyond those listed is poisonous and injurious. The uncertainty surrounding what color additives may be prohibited in addition to the above listed products makes compliance an impossible guessing game. Then don't use them. Use natural products, and you don't have anything to worry about.
No, because those can be poisonous and injurious as well.
They can.
This is the part where I have some. I agree with them that a better definition of what is desired is necessary. It's one of those things where it's really frustrating as a person in business because the customer is always right is the maxim that keeps getting thrown around. It's not actually true.
That is true, actually. Working in customer service, the customer is not always right.
And so this is the part where the customer is saying they don't want this type of bad thing to happen. It's like, okay, I agree. We don't want this bad thing to happen. They say, okay, so we're not going to allow this specific kind of thing to happen. It's all right. And how is that going to be standardized? What is the standard we're working against? And I say, well, if they say, well, natural products, they say, okay, well, what if we want to add the purple from Belladonna?
Well,
that comes with atropine in it. That's not going to be, that's poisonous and injurious. And it's like saying, okay, well, what about table salt?
Well, the thing is, we already have standards. We already have standards for that.
Exactly the point I'm making, though. Is
no, I understand the point that you're making and where you're coming from.
Natural sea salt can be poisonous and injurious. The dose makes the poison. A clear standard is required. Now, to be fair to the position that has previously been espoused, rather strongly, and I agree with it in general. Towards whether or not the vaccines were poisonous and injurious, that kind of issue. Or not that, but are they effective, right? Steve wanted a bunch of double-blind studies. He wanted the gold standard, RCTs. And fine, this is basically what the industry is asking for, is can you... And this is something where the lawmakers might be able to push back and say, you prove it. But then that's where you get independent boards. That's really what needs to be established, because otherwise you're going to have a bunch of people saying, well, the industry is just going to say their stuff is good anyway. And that's fair, because that's happened in the past. The alternative is that you're going to have the government saying this stuff is good, and now the taxpayers have to pay for all the testing. Now, in theory, the FDA and NIST take care of that kind of stuff. So really, what are they wanting? What do they desire to register under these different government agencies? What kind of independent board process would they want? Like they've got to come. It's one of those things where just bitching about a problem does not solve it. So nobody's coming to a table with a solution, which is really what's required here. Because the solution is what's going to solve it, not bitching.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that people are coming to the table with a solution, but it could be more baked. There's, as you say, you make a good point with that. It does need some specificity. But a lot of this is brand new, and you can't just say in like a West Virginia law, you can't just be like, use the EU food tables. You're going to have to actually, write all that shit down.
See, I don't want people just throwing their hands up in the air and saying, you figure it out. You're the one who came up with the problem, because both sides can say exactly that, and both sides will be right. on this issue specifically. That both sides are equally right on that. It's just one of those dumb things.
But that said, the customer does want this garbage out of the food. So
Fine.
they do need to be working towards that because that sector of the market is genuinely growing quite well, where other sectors are failing.
Well, again, if that's all well and good, but if they have to walk on eggshells, at a certain point, the only winning move is to not play, right?
I mean, I'm not necessarily averse to that, but that's me.
All right. Again, brands are going to have to figure that out. If again, I don't know how like they're gonna source someone who's going to be adventurous, and that adventurous person or the adventurous company is going to get caught up in a lawsuit, and then the industry is going to say, okay, well, I guess we're not doing that anymore.
Well,
this is how you get this is how you get beige Fruit Loops, which again I'm not saying is necessarily a bad thing, but
hey, if they fucking taste good, I don't care.
Well, all right.
I mean, at least as far as Fruit Loops, but I guess since we're talking about Fruit Loops, we could probably talk about Fruit Loops that aren't very good. That, of course, being obviously and unsurprisingly, Nina Lynn has been unbanned from Twitch. That's it. That's the whole story.
That's the.
That's the professional sexual assaulter. The lady with the man voice that likes to feel up dudes without their permission.
Yeah, that one. That's a real charmer, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like a snake charmer. Well, kind of like a snake that's you're trying to charm.
Beige Fruit Loops.
Yeah. Yeah, Cheerios are already beige. So what's the deal?
Here's another one. All white marshmallows in your Lucky Charms.
Well, all I can say to that is it's okay to be white. So I have no issue. Well, it just is what it is. And I guess we should probably just kind of segue that directly into interesting news. Because there are a number of folks... the segue here is don't eat so much fucking sugar. So there's obviously lots of folks that are making...
Skittles is an EU-friendly food diet. Okay, again, the EU is not the US. It's not the US.
Yeah, and we don't actually have regulations in place for a lot of that.
Also, that's if you hadn't had the alphabet-friendly Skittles in the past. I fucking love the way that you remember. I remember I got them just for the goof. The white Skittles.
Oh yeah, I remember the white power Skittles. They were like, yeah, all the other colors aren't good enough for us, so we're gonna make them the right way.
So their thing was, LGBT friendly. That was the whole entire thing of it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they did make them. That is true. That's the only group that is actually friendly to those people. So, it's pretty accurate.
Anywho.
Yeah, but anyway, talking about fat asses, and of course we've talked about Ozempic a number of times. We haven't really touched on some of the nightmare scenarios that people get because we've pretty much just hit the points of what it can do and what it does do for the people when it works. And to be fair, there are nightmare scenarios. There are people who utterly lose their appetite and just...
There's that one poor woman who had basically multiple years of pure vomiting.
Yeah, there are some people that this
really bad.
Is not good for at all.
Now, the question, of course, is how do you tell if you're one of those people beforehand? The answer to that is you can't.
Not really you can, but we don't know how to answer that question yet. Because, I mean, there is an answer.
There's about an 85% rate of success with Ozempic.
Mm-hmm.
there's a significant percentage
And
chance
there's a
that it will
pretty
not
low
work.
amount of actual disastrous results. It's
There is a
generally
low amount of
either it
complications.
works or it works very well. That's your like 85%. Then you've got, probably about your honestly about 10 to 13% that's it just doesn't really do anything. And then that
I
last
was gonna
2
say there's a
3%,
percentage
that's
where it
where
doesn't do much,
things get weird.
and then there's a chunk where it just doesn't help. It doesn't take.
Mhm.
Now, to be fair, part of that's on the doctor. So you're supposed to be monitored very closely, especially during your loading period. Um, so the first bit when they're titrating it in, they're dialing it in. So that is a time period where you're supposed to be adjusting your dosage and so on and so on. And some people it might take a very high dose to make it work properly, and some people it might take a moderate dose or a low dose. But beyond those complications, there are some people where it just flat out does not work. Either antibodies are formed, or the receptors don't exist in the right exact configuration. They're just not responsive.
Yep, that is just a
But
thing that happens.
it's just the way. It's just one of those things. Biology is annoying. So it'd be nice if it wasn't that way, but it is what it is.
Truly.
Not a miracle cure for everyone for everything.
Correct. However, I am segueing into something with this, and it might just be a
Uh-huh.
miracle cure. And
All right.
the long and short is, well, Eve, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Right. We
And,
tried this before with nitrobenzene,
well, anyway,
which turns out is a really bad thing to try. By the way, for all the bodybuilders who tried that before, they found out
yeah, it's
not so good for you.
it's a careful dance that you have to do when you're screwing with your body's like the actual way that it functions and is made up. So you've got to be careful there. But with that said, we've got a paper that actually came out just 3 days ago, and yes, they're fucking around with the mitochondria, but
Uh,
they've found a better balance. So what they're doing is basically kind of kicking the mitochondria up a little bit, but they're not like turbocharging anything. They're just kicking them up a gear. So what they've made is a proton shuttle molecule that slightly loosens how they make energy. So not make all the fucking energy, just do it, burn everything, which is how a lot of previous attempts at this were done, and as said,
mhm.
not the best result there. However, loosening it a little, I'm going to be paraphrasing a little, loosening those parameters just a little results in things basically staying in balance, and your mitochondria are just burning a little bit more calories. So you can basically, long and short is, you're running at a higher metabolism at any given time. But I'll just read off this here to explain it in a way that people, I hope, will
Mhm.
get. Anyway, mitochondria make their energy by using a proton gradient, like water behind a dam powering a turbine, which
Yes,
is simple
it's
enough. When the
true.
protons flow in the controlled way, the cells get steady energy, and that balance is why everything works. What this does is uncouple that
What
a little.
nitrobenzene is.
Well, what the uncouplers do, and that's like a full-on uncoupler. Is just like, no, let it all go. But what this does is to leak back some of those without using ATP, allowing the mitochondria to burn more fuel, release more energy as heat. Strong uncouplers work too fast, aka. But mild uncoupling, which is what this is, these new molecules slow the proton flow just a bit. So it allows it to boost the metabolism without exploding the cells or burning them up or anything like that. To put it in, again, the simplest of terms. But what this could do, though, is this could cause your body to fight the things that are leading to obesity, diabetes, certain cancers, It's very interesting. Like they might have actually dialed in that process that was fairly disastrous the last time they tried to use it. Because I mean, it is feasible. It should be a thing to dial in. It's just a matter of figuring out how.
Well, yeah, a bunch of bodybuilders figured out that's not so easy back in the day. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go about that. This is a path that's been well traveled. You can attach things to chemicals to make them what's called sterically hindered. So sterically means, in this case, in this context, like geometrically. So much in the same way that a fat person is geometrically hindered from going through certain doorways.
Yeah.
Or that it slows them down and that maybe they need to rotate a little bit to squeeze through a different direction. As much as that's true. Sterically hindering certain processes it slows down reactions, and it can prevent certain types of side reactions from happening, things like that. Sometimes things fit very neatly, like a locking key, and sometimes you can make things fit ever so slightly not so conveniently, and slow something down or make it slightly less likely. And that's one of the ways that they might be kind of going about this, because the nitrobenzene example, that one was just so not the one to use. That just like you said, it kind of just leaves the gate wide open. So hopefully they're going about that in a slightly smarter way. Steve, welcome.
Well.
What's up? Sorry, fellas. Last weekend when you were on, I was doing colonoscopy prep. Nobody wants to hear that.
Nope.
Yet here we are.
Yeah.
Everything goes smoothly, I hope.
Well, actually, what was kind of nice, we did the colonoscopy. They came back and they found nothing. I'm like, well, fuck. What the hell am I all worried about? And then the next day, I had the endoscopy, so I was all fucked up on like Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because you do anesthesia 2 days in a row, and it's not not good.
A pleasant experience.
A little out of it.
Not
you might be.
Yeah. But the endoscopy found out that most likely all the problems that I have are tied to, 1, having a stomach ulcer, which is tied to 2, having a food allergy. Or, well, I shouldn't say it has diagnosed me with a food allergy, but I have all of the condition I have is the product of a food allergy.
Yeah.
I have excess white blood cells in my esophagus and my stomach. And I've suspected for a while I was probably allergic to wheat, but that whole testing process fucking sucks.
So you're gluten bigot.
I don't think it's a celiac thing.
Okay, because that runs in my family. I'm lucky. I just don't produce IgA, so I don't have it. But otherwise, I would.
Yeah, I don't know. After I get the formal diagnosis, it'll be time to go sit there and figure out what specific blend of food allergy I have.
So
I suspect wheat because, I used to love wheat beers, and I just got to a point where I'd bloat up instantly, and it's not like it's like the whole system feels like it's under pressure. And so obviously it's not an anaphylaxis thing, but something like that.
Yeah.
And what is it? I'm starting to give a little bit of credence to the crunchy granola types, talking about American wheat versus European wheat, and I did some research into
a lot of
it.
that's bullshit, though.
Actually, no. There's two major differences between European and American wheat. One is we use a red durum wheat, which has a much higher gluten content in it, about 60% gluten content or something like that, or 60% more gluten than the other stuff. The other thing that American wheat has is our farmers spritz it with glyphosate as a desiccant. And this recommendation kicked off starting in 2006 with the 2006 wheat harvest. And it's not, it's not some sort of evil conspiracy or anything like that. It's literally, hey, you spray your grain with this shit and less of it's likely to go moldy. But at the time that they spray it, they spray the glyphosate on, that's also less time for it to wash off. And so,
and it's also fairly near
I've
the end of
heard
the process where other washings would have occurred had they done it earlier.
correct, and it's like your goal. Anybody here watch Clarkson's Farm?
I've heard of it, but no, I haven't watched it.
No.
Oh my God! All right, both of you guys should go watch Clarkson's Farm. It's fantastic. All the seasons are. It's Jeremy Clarkson of whatever. He's farming his own farm, but he actually, one of the cool things is they get into the nitty gritty details of farming and like what a harvest looks like and what the characteristics are. And so obviously, anybody who sits there and says, "Oh, I just plant food in dirt and therefore it grows," right? They're fucking idiots. And you get to see how idiotic they are when you're watching this show, because you get to see all the work, not just the work that goes into it, but also the specific criteria and how sensitive our harvest criteria are. And he goes into it, and basically it's moisture content. Well, there's two things, right? For wheat, it's moisture and protein content. The reason that American producers tend to use a higher gluten-producing wheat is not because we're evil farmers. It's that protein. Gluten is a protein. Gluten is a protein. And so if you use a higher protein producing wheat, you have a higher protein wheat, which means more of it becomes, with the European wheat, it all depends on, or whether or not it's considered fit for human consumption is dependent upon growing season conditions and how much protein the crop produced. We kind of bypass that by using a strain that is way more protein rich.
Yeah.
Yep. But
that also means we have to use more intensive fertilizers for it too.
Right. So
it's much more nitrogenous in that sense.
Yep. So it's a very, very it's very interesting when you watch it, and so learning that there are those two differences between the two standards in farming and the general wheat component, as well as the 2006 timeline, because that's about when I started not handling wheat so well. Now all of a sudden you gotta, again, I've thought about this for a long time because I used to like wheat beers and I used to bloat instantly, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'd feel like my entire body was under pressure. It was weird. But it's nice to have a diagnosis.
It certainly is.
Yeah. But go ahead, boys. What were you talking about? I apologize to jump in. I've been trying to finish this fucking room. I'm in the final step of painting. I did all the corners earlier today and all the trim earlier today and all the other stuff. So now I got to do the bulk of the walls. That'll be another hour and a half, 2 hours of my life gone into this fucking place.
Nature of home maintenance.
But, yeah, well, the thing is, once the room is done, everything gets restored, right? Like, I get the room back, I get the space that all the shit in that room's occupying back. It doesn't fix the entire house, but it gives me probably like 600 square feet back.
That's a pretty fair chunk.
Yeah, but because I've got all the shit moved into, I've got about I think this room is about 12 by 14, and so I can kind of use it. I've got some of the shit that's normally in this room here, but a lot of the rest of the stuff's in one of the other two rooms, as well as all the new stuff is in the other two rooms. So that's 200 and something square feet about 200 square feet, 150, 200 square feet in all of the stuff that would go into one of my other rooms. So that's another 200 square feet there. And then all the materials that had to come in here, which is still a mess. I've used them all, almost all of them, but they're sitting in another room, unsorted, unorganized, and put away. So I lose the 200 square feet there.
Oh,
so all in all, it's probably going to be like,
and everything.
So I'll probably get like 400 or 500 square feet back once it's done. But
yeah, right on.
Yeah, it's completely, it's because I've been living in the space and it's the main thoroughfare of the house, which is even worse. It's not like a side room or something like that.
Yeah.
I have to move everything in and then move it back. And so there's like this movement in and back every single time I work on the room, which is every single day. So there's like 30 minutes of time that goes into pulling couches out, putting couches back.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that'll get old real quick.
Pulling TVs out, putting TVs back. And then, yeah. I mean, the whole process is it's just tedious. Like, and this is the least complicated room I have. It's just, it's a living room. So it's just electrical work that I did. And drywall installation and rerouting everything and sealing. But now it's almost done. I just gotta paint.
Right on. Well,
so I'm gonna paint while we chat.
Oh, sure enough. So, fair enough. Fair enough. That's not the worst segue. So there's
Bullshit.
No. You could have really made that difficult because I'm going to talk about how a bunch of words were painted over, poorly painted over, with black bars that were fairly easily removed. So we talked last week about a whole bunch of deeply redacted files that were released. Before we go forward with that, should mention that during this last week, since then, somehow the FD or SDNY, it's somebody, the New York Department of the Fed or something, found about 1 million more files, just sitting around somewhere. Who knows? Okay. They might have been in the office of the guy who got a standing ovation as he was perp walked out of the building.
What's this?
The New York FBI office found another 1 million files on Epstein over the last week.
So you'll have to actually inform me because
that's it. I can't tell you any more about it than that. It's just, oh hey, we've got another 1 million files, so we'll get those to you. That's the whole story.
So some guy was perp walked out though?
Oh yeah, we talked about that. The former leader of that department, where he was unceremoniously let go, and then everybody's out front like, oh, "Good job, you do good, you good man, do good job."
Really?
Yeah. They gave him the standing ovation and everything while he was being escorted out by security.
Huh. Well, I mean that whole files was a shit show.
Oh, quite.
I stand here like, would it surprise me if Trump is wrapped up in this whole thing? Like, let's be honest, I don't think the answer is no. I don't think anybody would be surprised by that.
Well, no. I mean, to be fair, like the guys were on fairly good terms in 2007. Then some things happened, and then they were no longer on good terms. And as a matter of fact, Jeffrey Epstein seems to have hated his guts after those events.
Yep. But my suspicion is that Trump was involved to some greater or lesser extent, in the whole entire thing, and like I understand he wouldn't want that stuff come out. Although granted, there's a whole bunch of other stuff kind of semi-exonerating him. He does seem to be, a horny dude who likes doing horny things, and that's kind of what Epstein was selling. But like. What I am surprised at this point that the release was as bad as it was, because you'd think from all of the other times they'd learned that this is not something they can just fuck up, right?
Like, well, if we're being honest, they have learned from all the other times that this absolutely is something that they can fuck up.
Oh well, I guess that's one way to look at it. The way I see it, right, the Epstein thing doesn't matter all that much. Anybody who's sitting there and saying it's like the bee's knees, it's not. But it's proof of two things. One, our government is lying to us. And two, that our government is very likely involved in some shady-ass shit. And the people who run it. And there's no way to hold anybody accountable. And that's... it's a public trust question. And so until such time as they start... Like, you'd think that they would not turn around and do the Epstein thing where they're like, hey, we just done fucked up and redacted all the fucking files all the time.
Now, that said, with how things have been going, I would not be entirely surprised if one of our guys, as it were, was on hand to make sure that those were released in an appropriate way, that they could be easily parsed by the information-consuming public, shall we say. Because normal redactions aren't quite so unredactable. Or, wait, no, hold on. Are not quite so easily unredactable. There we go. You know what I'm fucking saying. Take the bars off. It's not...
Yep.
Well, yeah, I can't remember. I don't know exactly the term I'm trying to use. But anyway, whatever. what's happened with this is basically the whole dump is very, very straightforward to get through. Give me 1 second here, because I've got a nice little thing that's got a set of instructions on actually how you do that. Because it'd be important for me to share that with folks so that they can go through those files on their own and see what's actually there. Because just as a by the by, I haven't even looked over all of it, because a lot of people are genuinely coming through them now, since they can be done so properly, and they've already uncovered a couple of mentions. All right, pause that. Mention firstly the dangerous and scary letter involving Larry Nassar and fucking Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. So that one looks like it's a very recent addition that was just some piece of evidence that was submitted by some rando long after Epstein was in jail. I want to say it was from I think 2017 or 2018 is when that particular letter is supposed to be entered into evidence, which is a little sus. And there's also nothing to back it up. So everybody who's saying that he's absolutely in on this and absolutely in with everything, it's maybe, but there is no real.
So what's this letter say?
I haven't read over the whole thing. I remember some of the high points are like he was specifically talking with Larry Nassar about young girls, and of course Larry Nassar is.
Oh, they were talking about the letter that was debunked?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
I know nothing of this letter.
Oh, that's good.
I've been away from the internet for a week, and it's made me feel quite good. I realized I hadn't opened up Twitter in 3 days, and that was fantastic.
Well, yeah, there was this letter that came out. It was released. It was entered into the evidence for the Epstein files, I guess you'd say, quite some while ago. Or
okay.
No. It was not quite some while ago. It was quite recent, as opposed to all the other stuff. Like I said, 2017, 2018, I think. I'm going off of memory on this, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm not right on with it. But it's basically like just some anonymous tip that's not really verifiable. Kind of like the drawing that Donald Trump supposedly made to Epstein, which was, again, another one that was later debunked. It's one of those kind of things. It's like there's not anything good. Now, is there something there? Maybe, but it genuinely doesn't seem like it. So we'll see.
Anonymous third-party source sitting there and talking about it.
There's a lot of that going on.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Ah, here we go. I found
yeah.
Yeah, here's some of the redactions that were gone over. Like this one's from about 4 days ago. Defendants also attempted to conceal their criminal sex trafficking and abuse. Part 304, abuse conducted by paying large sums of money to participant witnesses, including by paying for their attorney's fees and case costs in litigation relating to the conduct. Epstein also threatened harm to victims and helped release damaging stories about them to damage their credibility when they tried to go to the public. And this is all shit that was redacted. Why would you redact that? That backs up what you're saying. Here's another part that was redacted. Epstein also instructed one or more Epstein Enterprise participant witnesses to destroy evidence related to ongoing court proceedings involving defendants' criminal sex trafficking and abuse conduct. And, just... there are literal names named. And
really?
Oh, yeah. Under those black bars, there are names named. And individuals who will go away.
Yeah, but have we actually named them?
Have we? No, those are redacted. But they can be easily unredacted. They basically just did all this shit in Adobe, so you can go in there, highlight it, undo it, you're good. Ba-boom. Take a look at all the data.
Oh, good. So they did it in the shittiest way possible.
Yes, as a matter of fact. or the best, depending
boy.
on how you do your math.
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty cool.
I'm quite pleased with the way that they did the redactions, as a matter of fact. I'd rather they hadn't, but if they're going to, hey, that's definitely the way to do it. I like it.
So what you're saying is that, in theory, with the way that they did the redactions, when they published the redacted items, is the full content of the redacted item present inside the published documents?
Oh, yes.
So there's a way to go and unredact the names.
Oh, yeah. It's not like images with black bars at all. It's like Word files with a strikeout on them.
So you can go and unredact it yourself, or what?
Literally.
Well.
Quite literally. Just that.
Great.
You can absolutely just go in there with Adobe.
I mean, I thought I heard this right the first time. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. What you're saying is the redactions were pointless.
Well,
not exactly, but the redactions were not useful as redactions. But they were, however, very useful to draw a lot of eyes onto these files, and also to draw a lot of interested anons in decoding said files. And, well, it appears that every single one in at least the initial 1 or 2 drops can be completely unredacted.
Huh.
So what do you want to know?
Who was in it? Who knew what when?
Okay, rhetorical question. It's there. I don't have.
Don't ask that question unless you're not prepared to answer it, man.
Yeah,
So rhetorically, what do you want to know?
What was the Epstein list?
It appears that there actually isn't a specific Epstein list because.
Well, we know there's not a list. God damn it! Like, what's some of the names here, pal? What give us a name?
I would like some names myself.
Who's the victims here? Who's the unnamed co-conspirators?
It'd be helpful to know. That's for sure. Very, very helpful to know indeed. And just as a quick note here too, earlier in the year, Kash Patel did testify that the files that he had seen did not have any credible witness testimony or anything about Epstein trafficking any young women to anyone. So yeah, there you go. That's
no, hold on.
Now that's not accurate.
Words
today.
might be specific. Well, that he had seen.
Well, that is to say the FBI files that he found or he had access to at the time didn't seem.
We'll find out that there's just another million pages out of them all of a sudden.
Well,
what
to
I'm
be
suggesting
fair,
here is that perhaps he spoke honestly.
That's actually possible.
Regardless of how incriminating, perhaps no matter how incriminating what he said seems now, perhaps he spoke honestly. I don't like that that's the case, either way.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I have a sneaking suspicion that he was speaking honestly.
Which is kind of worse.
I've also, to be very clear, when he went on the Rogan show, we did an episode there shortly thereafter. He used very specific language that if you can read between the lines, tells you quite a bit.
Told me that he knows where to look, and then what he tells me afterwards with his testimony in front of Congress is that he looked and he didn't find what he was looking for.
And also, on that exact same note, we do have some reporting that, in fact, they were asking for data from other offices, and they weren't getting anything. They were being completely stonewalled by other FBI offices where they should have been getting these records. Case in point, just 4 days ago, another more than 1 million files. Oh, and just as a by-the-by, for anyone listening that doesn't want to, have to jump through any hoops or anything, you can load them into Word, Microsoft Word, and just take the redactions off.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, you're not going to need anything particularly special.
Wow. I am going to wait until all of the internet sleuths have done their internet sleuthing for me.
Oh, well, that's kind of what we do, because there's a
I was
lot to
say,
pour through.
This begs the question here. A couple of them. Has anyone had the balls yet to just outright publish the unredacted files in their full? You know, has anyone automated the process, just unredacted everything, and then like shoved it on the WikiLeaks or anything like that? Because that seems like something that you could divide among a few people and get done in a couple days.
It does, yes.
Like, just does anyone put out an archive of just here's everything unredacted, no more bullshit, just here's what was posted? Well, that'd be terribly interesting to see, and terribly in most senses of the word. I want to see like what exactly was it? What was the embarrassment to which party?
Oh,
super party as in persons.
Well, here's a handy dandy thing you can do. I don't know if this works on everything, but you can feed them into Gemini 3 and just ask it questions, and it'll tell you. Since they were so poorly redacted, it can just get the data directly out. Including,
I could probably do that with a local llama.
Oh, sure. But also metadata.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is this stuff should all show up on the J drive, shouldn't it? You heard that the Jmail got an update, right?
Oh, did it?
I believe we covered this last time.
Oh, not an update, but...
Yeah, it's updated with files that have been released.
What's this?
So, Jmail was Gmail, but you're logged in as Jeffrey Epstein.
www.jmail.world. And you can just hop right on there, open up the Jmail. Oh, look, there's new stuff. How about that?
Yeah. Now, I haven't gone through it myself. I just I noticed that there was some other people who were talking about it during the week, and thought I'd make sure to bring it up.
So what's the purpose of this Jmail?
Oh, well, it allows you to read through every single email that was processed to Jeffrey Epstein, or from Jeffrey Epstein. So everything he received or sent.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Up to July 25th. Well, actually, up to August 13th, 2019. The last email is from some rando, but it is titled "You Are Dead" and says "Lol, good riddance."
I wonder how much spam they had to go through.
Actually, it looks like a lot of it.
Prove it out a little bit.
Way. Holy shit. It's got the promotions section, including his Amazon purchases.
Interesting.
And purchase orders.
That's gotta be
oh, that's
probably gonna have some fun stuff behind it.
Oh, it looks like he was trying to get something delivered while he was otherwise occupied. I think he was...
Rush delivery.
Well, he'll have that sometimes.
Rush delivery. Noose kit.
Yeah, there is that. What did he get here? My God. Toothbrushes and motion sensors. Interesting. Yeah, there's just all sorts of...
Well, there's the kind of question is, what kind of motion sensors does Jeffrey Epstein buy? What's his brand pick?
I wonder if he left a review.
That would be interesting too. His Amazon reviews.
Because I mean, if we're being honest here, Ghislaine, she was quite literally terminally online. To the point of being one of the most prolific Reddit mods out there. So for everybody saying that Reddit mods are all fat bearded incels, no, actually, some of them sex traffic children. Which
okay, but that's redundant. Some of those
yeah, there's that. There is that.
I mean, it should not be funny, but
it ends up coming up a lot.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
It isn't the child trafficking that's funny either.
Oh, you are power. Appears that's his choice for motion sensor lights.
Okay.
I gotta say that fits his style.
Having his ego stroked,
amongst
by a minor
other
South
things.
Asia.
Yeah, absolutely. What do we have here? List for Bannon Steve. I wonder who Bannon Steve is. I wonder if he's at all related to that other Bannon that has a Steve name. Who can say? Who can say?
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein could. Turns out he died.
Theoretically.
Oh, I mean, he could be in Argentina with a bunch of Germans.
He could. But I mean, this isn't the 80s, so there aren't quite as many there.
That would be the funniest irony, would it not?
What's that?
Jeffrey Epstein ends up in Argentina with Hitler's offspring.
That would be pretty wild.
That would be something.
That would just be like peak. Especially he's sitting there, he goes, "Wow, somebody who will look really pretty." Just the ultimate revenge on Hitler. Send the world's most notorious pedophile. That's so fucked up.
Yeah. But also, we should probably note as well that we've got a little bit from recent Bureau of Prisons, I don't know if you say record drop or anything, but Freedom of Information Act on that. Basically going into some of his own testimony. And I quote here, he stated he is anxious about going back to SHU because he stated he is going back to a place where he had gotten marks on his neck and he doesn't know why it happened. And on his own thoughts regarding suicide, he was quoted himself as being, quote, a coward, said he doesn't like pains, and was, quote, future-oriented. And then 2 weeks later, of course, he did a triple black flip off of the top bunk using toilet paper as his noose, and was able to crush his windpipe and break 3 vertebrae in a 7-foot-tall room. As you do, just the normal thing.
Look, now, triple axle, it's pretty common.
But, yeah. I mean, that's completely normal. It happens all the time.
So you guys do a triple axle every other Sunday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm lucky I haven't, crushed my larynx and broken my neck with percussive force in 3 different places. That's just
we can't all be rock stars.
That's true. That is true. Just the way of the world. The way she fucking goes, boys. The way she fucking goes. But also, found the thing that I was looking for here. So, buried in those files, out of Mario Knopfel was going over this. So, let me read this quote from Bondi's DOJ. The FBI is completely fucking us on this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in regards to, asking for all the records and all this. So
that's what I would expect her to say.
I mean, she fucked herself. So,
yeah.
Again, she still needs to be fired. I was there with the first fuck up, saying that she needs to be fired.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has changed. Nothing that she has done has changed my mind.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah, there's not a lot of redeeming stuff in the Bondi package.
Yeah.
Maybe old Blondie should maybe she should talk to Fox News, see if they've got a.
Maybe she should consider retiring and letting someone competent take the role.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe move over to Fox News
before
and consult on topics.
Maybe that should be her New Year's resolution: is to not be shit at her job and/or get the fuck out of the role.
Exactly.
See,
And
I think the problem is that Bondi. So, and this is Trump's flaw, right? She's a reasonably attractive woman. That's one of Trump's flaws. But more importantly,
She's been loyal.
she is. I don't even know if it's loyalty. She's a clout chaser, and so she knows how to get in front of cameras as often as possible, so she gets to be seen. And this is a problem with the boomer generation, of which Trump is, that there is a difference between confidence and visibility.
oh yeah,
Yes, there is.
And she has high visibility, but she does not
She did not have
have high confidence. Nope.
No, that ship sailed on her.
Nope.
sure enough. So there's something else too. You guys have both heard the name Sarah Kellen, right? You're familiar with that? It's a well-known, internationally recognized name.
I have not.
You haven't heard the name Sarah Kellen? Surely, Craig, you've heard the name Sarah Kellen.
I've heard those names separately.
You mean to tell me you haven't heard the name of Sarah Kellen, Jeffrey Epstein's personal assistant that traveled with him everywhere and was with him all day, every day?
Huh.
This woman who hasn't even been arrested or questioned? You haven't heard the name of Sarah Kellen, his
So,
right-hand individual, the person that made everything happen, that scheduled every single thing?
So
The one who arranged for the girls to come out and go, and where they went and where they came to and went, and the one who had the books and would have a list if one even existed? The one who is listed by a federal fucking judge as, and I quote, criminally responsible in the events that transpired.
What's the implication you're making here? I'm not quite getting it.
Just asking questions, just innocent questions.
Oh, okay. There's questions.
Yeah, just some
I
simple, innocent
understand.
little questions. Oh, by the way, she didn't quit after 2007. Just as a by the by, stayed on, and also got immunity in the 2008 plea deal too.
Well, that is curious. What did she get immunity for?
Probably for doing nothing to anyone or ever doing anything wrong. She was immune from being prosecuted for not ever committing any crimes, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Also, by the way, she's got a lovely...
kind of like Ghislaine Maxwell, who trafficked the most minors ever to nobody.
Yeah, kind of like that, you know. And she's the one who scheduled all the plane flights and boat rides and everything for all the minors that were trafficked to no one.
Oh, but okay, and
since they were trafficked to no one, and you know, all those massages and everything were for non-people or only Jeffrey Epstein, then you know, it's who cares? It's a no deal. Okay. Anyway, from what I understand, her $6.2 million Miami home and her $5.2 million New York City penthouse are both very comfortable. But yeah, so who's that lady? Who could that be? Who knows? Just probably a random injured party. Probably that. Probably not anything else.
Well, you know how those injured parties are with the randomness.
Yeah.
You need to go out. Go to the door.
Yeah, so she has... Oh, she's described herself as a victim. So there you go.
Sounds like his dog.
Well,
surely.
isn't that cliche that they would redact the names of, if that's how you can get on the victims list?
I guess
that would explain some of the redactions.
A tragic victim, you say?
Yeah, and to be fair,
I didn't know that they were raping children.
Well, she probably thought it was consensual.
I thought it was okay in the Caribbean.
Well, yeah.
You know, do as they do in Rome when visiting Rome or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Rome wasn't built in a day. It was destroyed in one. These fucking people. It's amazing. Everyone's a fucking victim.
Yeah, she was never called as a witness. No, never not had a single criminal charge brought against her.
Uh-huh. So who did she know again? That seems relevant.
Yeah. Kind of peculiar. And when Business Insider reached out to her for comment 3 years ago, not since, she was not reachable, and apparently they haven't really, followed up, because why would you follow up on that sort of thing? Who cares about that? That doesn't matter.
Outstanding.
Well, again, the Epstein files seem to be at least a case of the best case scenario is a whole bunch of people don't really care, which is problematic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, kind of a big deal, a little bit.
But on top of them not seeming to care, it seems that they're involved. So it seems that their not caring is intentional.
It certainly seems that way.
Yep.
It certainly seems that way.
I'm not happy with that.
Very, very peculiar. Very, very peculiar. Yep. You know what else is a peculiar state of affairs lately? There's some individuals that have, in just the past few years, they've had some ugly things to say about America and Americans. We've talked about this particular organization, the Center for Countering Digital Hate, and of course their CEO, Imran Ahmed. Well, he got a taste of what he's been asking for all these years. Yes, as a matter of fact, he has been sanctioned and banned from entering the United States, along with a number of other individuals. Well earned is all I can really say about that. You've made everything worse for everyone everywhere, and it's actually the very least we can do for you.
Sadly, why were they sanctioned?
Because they've been sanctioning Americans and going against American companies and free speech and just in general.
Okay.
Here we go. I'll read Marco Rubio's comments on that. Give me 1 second to get those up here. All right. Okay. For far too long, ideologues in Europe have led organized efforts to coerce American platforms to punish American viewpoints they oppose. The Trump administration will no longer tolerate these egregious acts of extraterritorial censorship. Today, at State Department, will take steps to bar leading figures of the global censorship industrial complex from entering the United States. We stand ready and willing to expand this list if others do not change course. Which, by the way, that does include Thierry Breton? I think I'm saying that right. But a lot of the you will own nothing and be happy crowd basically is falling under this. Unsurprisingly. And in some kind of related news, vaguely at least, we've actually got some, not merely articles of impeachment. No. That's kid games. We've actually got articles of deportation being put together for one Ilhan Omar. And by golly, I think she's earned it. I truly do.
What is the articles of deportation? Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Well, she's...
Well, I know that the guy out of Florida, what's his name?
Randy Fine.
Randy Fine, thank you. Randy Fine is really kind of fucking done with her. I could say most Americans are. But he's particularly fucking done with her shit. And so he's diving in head first on getting rid of her. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where that lands. But like I said, I'll believe it when I see it. I know he's going to file. He's trying to kick her out of the committees and the chamber at least right now, which is more within his purview. The deportation stuff, that's the executive branch's job to handle that shit. So it's not his. He can, however, uh, he can file or he can submit whatever evidence he comes up with to the FBI as a referral. He can refer her shit to the FBI and say, take care of this. And then the executive branch has the purview to actually follow up on it. But he can put together a packet of evidence, whatever evidentiary measures he has, and send a referral. And because he's a Congress critter at the federal level, that carries some significant weight as far as, who's going to get put on task. There's some priority behind it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you or I calling up on the tip line and saying, hey, I heard she fucked her brother. It's more like, he can say, was she actually 17 when she was grandfathered in by her father?
Mm-hmm.
Or was she actually 19, which is what the website said before they scrubbed it.
Did she break this specific immigration law in bringing her brother in? It's like there's right. Very good legal precedent.
There's also legal precedent to denaturalize her and send her ass home.
Absolutely.
So, which would be a political victory vis-a-vis the massive fraud going on up north, which, by the way, isn't just happening in little Somaliland, which we should probably segue to in a second too. Not just happening in little Mogadishu, that neighborhood. Not just happening in, so Minnesota, Michigan, like that area. Not just there. It's also shit like this is also happening in Ohio and Arizona. There's issues in certain areas in Texas. Like, this is not a small issue in 2 states in the Union. It's also happening in the New England area, in Maine. So, just the scale of the fraud is so staggering at this point. Like we mentioned last time, $9 billion. It's only going up from there. That's an issue. When the estimate never hits a ceiling and just keeps going up, that's a big problem. So, the specific frauds that are happening in Michigan, Minnesota, that's on the order of $9 billion. But it turns out that it's happening all over the fucking country. It's between 9 and 18 billion so far. Yes, the upper bound is on the order of 18 billion, but
and that's probably not the upper bound. Let's be real, but that's
like I said, these numbers are all fluid, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we're unfortunately just in the early days of this too, because everybody knew, but it was all so covered up by important and powerful people that it was very hard to get these answers without being boots on the ground. And now people are on the ground asking the questions and knocking on the doors.
Well, one of the issues you're going to run into here is these people are all flight risks as well. Not only
true.
See, the problem is, yeah, there's a bunch of them you want to get to go home, but on your terms, like after you've convicted them, so that you can guarantee this shit won't happen again. Because ultimately, it could be that we end up with a massive number of prosecutions that result in fucking nothing, because the people we want to prosecute just went home. And it's like that. Then there's a statute of limitations on these things, and at a certain point, they might just be eligible to come right back and do it again, which is fucking stupid.
And you know what? Speaking of really fucking stupid and statutes of limitations, there's probably something else we should definitely mention. There's a statute of limitations that's coming up here in January. As a matter of fact, on the 6th and or 7th day of January, that our good friend of the show, Pam Blondie, has kind of neglected. See, if January 7th rolls on through and there are no prosecutions for any of the malfeasance that was done to the American citizenry on that day and the immediately following days, then basically she's saying, no, you're good. You're good. It's all good. Ashley Babbitt, she deserved it. That white lady outside, the fat lady, got beat to death. Had it coming.
Well,
and that's it. I don't have any fun, cool segue or anything. Just old Blondie doing what she does. Nothing at all. and I'm a little troubled by that. Quite a little trouble.
Their signature move.
It is. It is. It's good times. Good times. Anyway.
It could be better times. So, I mentioned something about where to send Ilhan back to.
Go on.
So, Israel pulled one of those funniest moves you can pull to a bitch like her, and recognized a country that has de facto existed for the last 30 years.
Okay.
And then in the north of Somalia. So Israel recognized Somaliland formally.
Huh. Well,
which, wouldn't you know it, breaks a brainlet like her, because she's still got notions of taking over Ethiopia for Somali. Which is never going to happen, mind you. Well, like she's here representing the desires of the Islamists in Somalia to take over Ethiopia. And Israel comes in and just fractures, with a pen stroke, the homeland that she's trying to expand, and does so in a place that is particularly advantageous, and that is Somaliland, which is just across the inlet there from Yemen. So Somaliland is friendly with Israel.
I could probably make a pretty good joke about Israel meddling in countries' politics, but we'll hold off on that.
Well, let's see. In the recent
I'm getting a page.
Past, in recent past, how many countries have decided to recognize Palestine for whatever boundaries they decided to recognize it as? In very recent past, Australia, UK had several countries. It was like what five or so that just in quick succession went ahead and recognized Palestine. I think specifically Gaza and West Bank. So Israel's kind of pulling the same thing here. And also, they've decided to spend 110 billion or whatever in the next decade or so. They're going to go military independent. So they're building out the capacity to build and so on inside their own country. The goal is to have no dependence on the USA or any other external source for provision of funding or munitions. So a lot of the money that we, air quotes here, spend on Israel is spending on our own domestic market to produce the munitions that we then ship to them. So specifically on their Iron Dome and other defense shieldings that they do. So they basically don't want to see, especially right now while there's still a favorable government in power here, they don't want to see another situation like they have with Kamala Harris. One of the few things she actually did was put her nose into the supply line of missiles to their Iron Dome. Namely that she wanted to delay them. And, on our end, there might have been some utility in using that as a leverage point for negotiation on what was going on over there. They don't see it that way. They see it as we've already made the promise. We already told them it's allocated. Why were we slowing down on our delivery? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when people don't have the ability to complain about certain amounts of money that are being spent on Israel every year. That'll be a different story when we get to it, but that's like a decade away.
Some sunny day.
In the near time, however, Somaliland has been recognized by Israel. I'm sure that's going to have some controversy and yada yada. The African Union. It's funny to see them flip flop on this because they previously said that Somaliland is de facto a country and it should be recognized as such. And then Israel does it, and the African Union came out and said, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." It's like, well, it's one country, stone's throw away, but still not within Africa. They're going to have to take that up in the UN where it was introduced, and if it's only one recognition out of the 193 or whatever that are required, effectively, then it's not going to go anywhere, and it's symbolic. But it is pretty funny that an area of the country that has it's de facto its own country, has its own elected government, its own separate ties to all this, that, and the other, and it's not capable of doing anything on its own because it's still classified as being part of Somalia. So, I mean, I can see that being a real son of a bitch, and that is their problem to solve. But at the same time, kind of funny that a person who's so insistent on recognizing Palestine over here, Ilhan Omar, has had Somaliland recognized from underneath her feet.
And since we're talking about the UN, we should probably mention something very interesting happened in just the past few days. With, who the fuck was it that said it? I don't know who this exact lady is. But one of the speakers there. Francesca Albanese? No way.
Yeah, huh?
That's
interesting
funny.
Face. Interesting
That's
woman.
very funny. I will put money on her being related to that fucking dictator. Anyway.
Oh, I think she is. I think that there'd be interesting relations here. Hold on a second. This is just
yeah, we need to know the answer to this.
Francesca
Albanese.
Who's this bitch?
United Nations Special Rapporteur to the Occupied Palestinian Territories.
Uh-huh. Spouse is Massimiliano Cali.
Francesca Paolo Albanese, Italian. Is she not?
Yeah, Francesca.
Really? Huh. And she's not related to Anthony.
Well, you know what I can put in? It's just Francesca and Anthony.
No, she's Italian. Huh.
Alright, is Francesca Albanese, and then it says no. Not related, simply share a common Italian surname, meaning Albanian. Huh. Which is common in southern Italy.
What a coincidence.
Yes, for the
what
Albanians,
an absolute... Well, anyway, we didn't even get to what the fuck she's talking about. So, she's saying that, hey, maybe the United Nations needs to isolate the United States, bitch. Please. I am begging you. I am asking you politely to do exactly that. You should isolate us completely. Entirely.
Yeah, from your budget,
You
too.
should isolate us from financing the UN, from hosting the UN, from interacting with the UN in any fashion. I am 1,000% for this. I think it's a great idea. We should be blacklisted from the UN, actually.
Century too late at this point, but, okay.
Well, again, better late than never.
I suppose.
When you got a problem, yeah, you've been putting off solving it for a long time, but hey, if the problem gets solved, at least it got solved, right?
This is true.
So somehow, how in the fuck is this fucking dictator-S not related to Anthony? That's amazing.
It is quite...
God damn it.
It's quite one of those coincidences, isn't it?
It is. Wow. That is really astounding. Well, anyhow. So, yeah, we've got the UN and the Albanese name has been dragged through the mud. It certainly has.
Yes, it has been thoroughly smirched, I suppose.
Quite.
Really besmirched.
Quite indeed it has. And also, we've got another fun one here from EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, as well as the Vice President of the European Communion.
Within 7 minutes for me, just FYI.
All right, gotcha. That is going to be Kaja Kallas. And I would like to read... let me see here. Yeah, I'll read the European Commission statement first and then what she had to say about it. So, the European Commission statement, this is on Christmas Eve, they had this to say. We strongly condemn the U.S. decision to impose travel restrictions on 5 European individuals, including former Commissioner Thierry Breton. Well, no, bitch, they fucking earned that shit. Anyway, Kaja Kallas had this to say in that regard. The decision by the U.S. to impose travel restrictions on European citizens and officials is unacceptable and an attempt to challenge our sovereignty. Europe will keep defending its values, freedom of expression, oh my fucking Christ, fair digital rules, oh my fucking double Christ, and right to regulate our own space. Into the fucking dirt. So, your sovereignty. Can you remind me, fellas, can you remind me of what sovereignty the European Union and or Commission has on the United States of America? Are they a sovereign of the U.S. in some way that I missed?
I'm pretty sure that Ofcom owns all of us. Last I checked, according to Ofcom.
Is that so? Is that so? Well, well, you learn something new every day, I suppose.
Every day,
man. So, aside from the control freaks at the UN, hope everybody out there had a wonderful Christmas, as crazy as this year has been. And on that note, there was a wonderful thing sent out by a fairly notorious, depending on where you fall, individual by the name of Mohammed, as a matter of fact, Mohammed Salah. And he put out a lovely picture of his girls sitting in front of a beautiful Christmas tree in a fairly sparsely decorated but very classy room, and a Merry Christmas message. And whew,
that was very, very nice.
Boy, did he catch absolute hell.
He seemed to have gained a ration of shit, yes.
So there's a lot of you could call them reactionary individuals that were very displeased by the fact that he would allow his children to experience a holiday with no negative connotations at all. It's just for people to love each other and care and even
spend time with family. Yeah.
And even if you want to go 1,000% corporate with it, it's a time to buy gifts for people that you care about.
Yeah.
Like, that's me going RJ fucking Reynolds 1,000% on this. Buy things
you can go
for people you love.
Full on corporatist American party goer. You can just say it's just presents and hanging out with family and friends while getting drunk.
Sure.
Like, you could go the full Monty on that and say there's absolutely
I'm hanging out with my boys. We're going to eat a bunch of food and watch some football. Well, okay, so you're going to be getting together with the people that you care about on a holiday, and you're going to have a good time. Well, that's kind of what it's about. Huh. So, yeah, he caught a lot of flack from his own people for that one. Unsurprisingly.
That he did.
And another one that this one from Project Veritas. Another one came out, I believe that this dropped on Christmas Eve. It might have been the day before. But they got a fellow by the name of Dan Fitzgerald, a county controller out of the State Department. And I'll just quote here. Oh, yeah. So all the good, honest, hardworking Mexicans stay in Mexico, and all the pieces of garbage come to the United States. And the Mexican government has no reason to stop it because their garbage goes to another country and sends money back to them.
So I was going to point out something similar regarding all the fundamentalists that have left the 53 Muslim countries to go where the infidels live. That'd be you and I.
Yeah, it's weird that they want to come to a place that's full of people they hate.
Yeah, so they show up here, and then you'll notice that Mr. Salah's picture is still castigated worldwide, but those people aren't living with him right now. They're over here, fucking up our country.
Yeah,
we can send them back.
Peculiar.
But again, trash from Mexico shows up here, sends back remittances.
Mm-hmm. And the friend of the cartel, the hand ring-est ring. ringstress, the hand ringstress of.
If you're gonna try to be anti-Semitic, get your shit in gear, man. I expect you to be on point.
I never tried to.
You need to make sure that you are thoroughly vetted.
I am just such a failure as a racist. I'm sorry.
Practiced, and ready to show perfection.
Oh man!
Listen, it's not like they have Jew gold.
It's true. They just have the regular.
It's really hard to. It's really hard to make fun of the downtrodden Muslims. I mean, the Jews, like you guys, all got your Jew gold around your neck, but the Muslims,
they're just.
What do they have? They've got their little bomb vests.
Oh, I thought you were going to say little brides.
No. They've got their goats, who they love very much. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna
don't punch down for this one.
I'm gonna get fan mail for this one.
Don't punch down, Craig. When you decide to share your gold, your pouch of gold with the show, then you can punch down.
Well, there you go.
Do I punch the gold at you or what?
You can. Oh, put one of the pieces in a sling and try and aim for his forehead.
Oh yeah.
I have to get down on my knees to make him look like Goliath. That just has so many different connotations.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, with that too, we've also got, surprisingly, an update from Brown. Now, I think this has gotten around to at least portions of this. The Brown shooting, obviously. Now, there was some reporting early on. I don't know if we mentioned it at the time, but a lot of other folks have caught that. Basically, that the custodian was the reason that the shooter was finally caught. I think we reported that last week. I'm not sure. But
I thought it was a homeless guy.
It's the guy that shot himself. He's also the one who took out the professor at MIT.
Yeah, no, but I thought a homeless guy...
it was a homeless guy that alerted them to where he was going immediately after. But
got it.
The custodian was able to fill in all the blanks because he alerted security at 2 separate occasions about this guy being dangerous, encasing the building. And
fuck.
Yeah, so he was on their radar. Oh, here we go.
That is insane.
Oh, not once or twice. He's been casing that place for weeks. Lysias said in an interview with Boston Globe, quote, "I knew there was something off with him. I thought it was someone trying to steal something. Every time he saw me, I think he thought I was security because he would always walk away." So, see something, say something, right?
Yeah.
Well, he saw.
It sounds like someone said something.
Uh-huh.
And then nothing happened.
Not a damn thing.
Outstanding work.
As they do. Brown
is the custodian did the right thing.
He tried.
What was the guy's name, the one who died?
Oh, I can't remember right offhand.
But he was Arabic, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
and
I think
illegal.
One of the... yeah, but he did come here originally illegally.
Oh yeah, no, he was like an overstay or something. He wasn't like
He wasn't overstay. He did not follow the rules. He was then given a deportation order, and he didn't check in.
Yeah, he's one of those, not one of the border crosser types.
Yep. But I think it kind of matters because his that's the kind of person we would normally be selecting from these countries. And he's been here for a long time. So we don't know why he went off, probably crazy. But I do think, between this and the Somali incident in Minnesota, I think I really hope that the AG, whoever is running the thing in Somalia, ends up really dotting their I's and crossing their T's on this one. And that's because stuff like this are perfect examples of the failure of DEI, right? Perfect examples of the failure of wokeness. Because you can almost bet that the guy at Brown, the janitor said something, but there's probably a
why
whole
were
bunch of
the
people
buildings
who
left
didn't.
open? Here's the question for you. This goes right to your
Well,
argument.
that's separate. No, that's separate.
Why were the
Like,
buildings left open? It's because of the fucking BLM shit.
is that why?
It's why they had that policy to leave
Really?
the fucking doors open for the protesters and shit.
Huh. But like, the point is that the DEI stuff, a lot of it is turning into, and this was the point that the right was making, that whatever baby the DEI was protecting, there was a whole lot of raunchy ass bathwater around it, and the fact that the left was unwilling to take action or prosecute people or face hard truths because they were afraid of being accused of racism has resulted in billions of dollars in fraud. You know, students likely are dead as a result of it. And for what?
For some back clapping, some patting on the back to say, "Hey, you did a good job. You're a
not only
good moral person."
Well, they also had a great effect on ensuring that white people and competent people were kept out of important industries, businesses, and education. Bringing all the rest of us down, as a result.
That too.
But let's be fair. I mean, some of these folks, they got into, economic and advisorship roles, and these were the very same people that told us that, hey, tariffs don't work. They're going to tank the economy. They're going to destroy it.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, sure, we got some issues, but we got some solutions too. And would I like it if corporations moved very fast and did all the right things and weren't largely dehumanized organizations that have far too many rights? Sure, I'd love that. But that's not the world we live in. But at least things can happen. Probably have to be kind of forced a little bit because we live in a bit of a corporatocracy, but the change can occur at least.
Well, I think we're going to see that, right? But again, it's going to require, if they turn around, if Tim Walz can hide on an argument over how much money was actually stolen, the left will hide, right? Much like we saw with the Charlie Kirk thing, right? The left turn around. It's very clearly from day one a hardcore left-wing shooter, one of a sequence of hardcore, left-wing violent activists. And they refuse to accept it, trying everything in their power to not accept it. And so if you are not bulletproof in your argument, they eventually moved on to, hey, the right's more violent, and a lot of that includes Muslim nationalists as part of their calculation, which is just baffling.
Honestly, I mean, a lot of the arguments can be summed up by a German book that talks about how this one guy, he had an argument one day with a guy, convinced him that he was right, and then the next day the guy just came back and was like, "Oh yeah, no, you were wrong."
What book is that?
It's by some guy. It's about a fight that he had.
Oh.
His struggle, you mean?
His fight, his struggle. I can't remember the exact thing. I'm not super fluent in German.
Yeah.
I see.
But it's funny. The similarities are striking.
The solution most enjoyed by Craig.
Well, you don't want multiple solutions, do you? You don't want to have to go and fix a problem all over again.
I suppose it all boils down to
you get a broken
math.
TV, you want to fix that TV the first time. You don't want to have to fix it again. Don't.
I suppose.
Drawing this one out a little bit far.
Well, I was about to mention the number of times the TV had been broken, but that's just probably pushing it, so I'm not going to.
Was it 14 times?
No, 109. But anyway.
What does that number mean? I know that I've seen that a couple times.
Oh, that's the number of countries that the Jews have been expelled from in antiquity and throughout time and whatever.
And there's the funny corollary to that one, where someone decided they were going to prove that wrong. They said, you see, back then, the production of a country wasn't really a thing. So in fact, the number is 1,500 and whatever it is because there are city-states. It's just like, you
Comedy.
see how that's not any help. You see that's not helping at all.
Oh, but you know what does help?
Just,
You know what does
that's
help?
kind of correct, technically correct, I guess.
But I'm going to tell you what does help. What actually helps
Please
is
help.
laughter and joy and bringing joy to the world. And with that, folks, I've got some great news. Just the other day, the Will Stancil Christmas special dropped. And if you haven't seen it,
Oh, goody.
I am going to put it at the top of the show link list. I encourage everyone to go and watch it because you may think that Will Stancil's a Grinch. No.
You may think it'd be like that.
Is Mecha? Yeah, but I guess the real question is Mecha Hitler a giving friend?
Yes, as a matter of fact. You could even say that with Grok's help, Will Stancil saved Christmas. I don't want to ruin it any more than that. I will say that Alex Karp is featured in this. If you're not familiar with him, he's the Palantir guy that jumps around and has the crazy gray hair.
Man, oh man.
I am not.
Sounds interesting.
It's very, very good. As a matter of fact, for you fellas, I'll just go ahead and drop it right here in the staff chat so you can cue that right up after we're done.
Although, speaking of which, I think that is the time.
Fair enough, sir. So we'll let you sign off for the night, and well, by golly, I guess that's about that. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and whatever real holiday you celebrate, other than Kwanzaa, because that was made by some torturing rapist.
Because that's a Marxist piece of shit.
Yeah, it's just not even a real thing. It was just made up to fuck with
An
people.
holiday.
And I will
All
also...
holidays are made up.
Fair.
Yes, but
Christmas
some
is
more
a
so
made up
than others.
holiday too.
Yeah, it's based on Saturnalia, but some holidays are more made up than others.
Indeed they are.
Well, you know what's actually really sad about the whole Christmas thing?
Come on,
and
that was a
everything?
good one.
Yeah. No, we're gonna dive into this because people should know, right? The funny thing is, astronomically, it is astronomically. We can actually date the rough time of Jesus' birth down to, I think, within like 2 or 3 days. Because at the time of Jesus' birth, or at the time, as part of the legend goes, the Star of Bethlehem, yada, yada, there was a supernova in the sky at that time.
Right.
And because of that, we know for relative certainty that Jesus was not born anywhere in the middle of December. He was actually born sometime around June.
Right.
And so, yeah, I know, but it's kind of sad. Like, I would kind of be like, hey, let's update the holiday because the myth was true.
Well, it's also the whole 616 thing. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, well, the number of the beast is 616.
Oh, yeah. And they changed it to 666 because it's repeating. Yeah.
Actually, no, they changed it to 666 because of a bad translation.
That sounds about right.
I thought it was because it was thought to have more effect.
No,
it
was literally just a bad translation of some of the early Greek and Roman texts.
Most of the funny thing is, a lot of this is one of those things, Rosetta Stone, etc. A lot of the Torah is translated relatively well, but some significant portions of it are translated very badly, and it's entirely due to the fact that there's tenses that just did not exist in Latin or Greek, and words that just don't have anything near the same function. And so when you just go by the Rosetta Stone translation, it's insufficient. And so when you translate the entire Torah into, to get the 5 books for the Bible, like it's just not good enough. And then of course there's all the revisions that happened over time. Like the Apocrypha comes from books of the Tanakh that were just not included because they didn't like them for some reason.
Christianity has that too, right?
Yeah, well, that's the idea. Is that's the Apocrypha.
Oh, I thought Judaism has its own Apocrypha.
I think. It might be like
I kind of don't think so,
up, but they don't
because
really.
Yeah, I am the
Talmud's
last
pretty
thing
extensive
from a
on
Jewish
that too.
scholar.
I thought the Talmud was.
There's two. There's the Jerusalem and the Babylonian. There's Talmud Yerushalmi, so Jerusalem, and Talmud Bavli, which is the Babylonian. Babylonian Talmud came, like a couple hundred years later.
You're probably thinking of the Kabbalah.
The Zohar.
I could be.
Yeah, the Zohar.
I don't know. I thought there was.
I would call the Zohar Apocrypha, sure, because that shit is a bunch of people that got really high and then went on a trip and came back and wrote it down.
I mean, there's what is it?
I know I just represented most of religion, but like at the same time, like if it's too out there for the like Abrahamic
a specific book. Specific book. I can't remember which one it is, but it's like an alien abduction story while on drugs, and it's fucking awesome.
Oh, that's a book by Joe Smith.
No, that's a separate one. That's a separate one.
I mean, it's the same one, but a separate one. But okay.
Oh, what the hell is it? It's
let's see. I guess there are some Jewish apocrypha.
Yeah, I thought there was.
So the outer books. All right, I know what you're talking about now. Whatever the hell.
Yeah, just clear your throat. We'll assume you're saying the words right.
Well, it's just the wonderful way they do alliteration on this shit.
Well, anywho, I know you're trying to call it a night, and we do like to close our nights with good news. And by golly, I've actually got some. We'll start with the minor good news here, and that is that Porsche had a Christmas special thing that was not particularly buy our brand new Porsche, just hey everyone, have a nice Christmas and remember the heritage of our vehicles. And to be fair, it's about like what you would expect from 2008. Not amazing, not bad. It's a decent animation, basically like Initial D Stage 5, roughly, hand-drawn cells with 3D cars that are pretty decent. But it's hand-drawn with hand-animated cells and 3D animation, all done by hand.
Oh.
So, what this is telling us is that the real stuff, in the most cyberpunk way possible, is for the high-end brands, and the slop, well, that's for the little guys.
Well, we know that.
But it's just, it's such a cyberpunk thing. It really is. But by that same notion, it's not Coca-Cola doing a fucking weird AI commercial with 6 fingers here and there. It's, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, it's something. But in the other bit of good news, which is just outright damn fine news, we have the Polymarket odds right now are showing us Mike Lindell at 50-60%. He was tracking at 53% as of...
For what?
Oh, to be the governor of, Minnesota.
In what poll is the question, I think, also.
Oh, now this is just for the primary. This is just the primary.
Or the who, what, where. Okay, so in the primary polling is showing he's got a 60% chance to be the candidate.
Yeah, and the nearest candidate is Kendall Qualls at 19%.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so it's looking real good for our boy Mike.
Well, that'll be
fun.
Interesting governorship.
The man can run a business. Yeah. So I
mean, he can also run his mouth.
So can Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look where that's gotten us. I'm not a fan of Trump boy. No more.
Well, he's got his issues and plenty of baggage, but the thing is, it's better than any other presented option.
And that's the problem.
I'll put it this way. I got that. I got it, right? It's the worst of several very bad choices, right? 100% on board with that. But I will offer that right now, if it turned out that he was in the Epstein files, and he was like dead center in the whole thing, would solve a lot of problems.
That would.
Like,
that's fair.
Granted, I don't want that to be found out or finished until like, what is it, 2022, for lots of reasons, but namely, let's give JD Vance his chance.
Right.
JD Vance is a Trump-esque figure with, I think, less baggage.
A lot less baggage, and he seems to be a better communicator.
If the best thing that the left could come up with running against him was he fucks his couch, right? That's the best thing I want him.
And it was a fucking lie too. That's the funniest thing.
Yeah, if all you got is a cringy lie, man, you're fucked. You're fucked.
That's the thing. I was explaining to my friend the other day, like, look, I'm not against a competent Democrat candidate. I want to see one because the Republicans aren't going to fucking do well unless we have in this country a competent, like, we need to have the other party. We don't have one.
Yeah.
Honestly, it wouldn't be bad if we had two more parties, but
it would be very good if there was a reasonable swing every election. It'd be much greater. The entire setup would be far better if we were still looking at presidents who are carrying 60 to 70% of the vote, right? Yeah. And of that, let's say 40% on each party is standard, and there's a 20% swing. That would be great. That would be a very good thing for everybody. That would mean that
the answer last time was that fucking hyena, and then the answer before that was fucking Hillary Clinton. What were they thinking?
Yep. And
then they had Biden. The fuck was that joke? It was disgusting. Yep. I mean, that's why when we see Trump, it's like, good grief.
Yep.
It's a hangover. It's not a party.
And to close this out here, because we've already talked about how bad things are in Minnesota, and
good news would be he's in the Epstein file.
Yeah, we will see. More is coming out every day. They found 1 million more just the other day, so who knows?
Sure they did.
And we still haven't found. But anyway,
they discovered it. It was right where they left it last time.
Yeah, it was in that place where the things are.
It's in my hand. The other one.
It was just in the basement on the shelf.
It's not Pam Zvani's fault that she up. And
behind the Jaguar, behind the acid and the laser field, and the minefield, and the barbed wire.
I think they've extended the metaphor a little bit.
Yeah, but as we have talked about Minnesota and how bad it is, there's a fella out of California, representative as a matter of fact, Carl DeMaio. He has said that Minnesota looks like, his exact words are that it looks small by comparison. And what he has alleged is that 3 out of every 20 food stamp recipients is just fraud, just period. That the unemployment agency allows $30 billion in fraudulent payments. That their food stamp fraud rate sits at 13.4%. And that their taxpayer money is being laundered through, of course, NGOs, and then directed back to political campaigns and duh. But, it's nice to hear it.
So all of this is great. Why the fuck didn't Doge find this?
Well, they're federal. State level. Yeah. And California kept anybody out of any of their shit, especially feds.
I think that the challenge by however many states it was against what the fuck was the department? They're looking to get the data from the states.
And they got completely stonewalled by quite a few of them.
Yeah. That's the thing is they're challenging it in court now, and they've joined it as basically like a class action. They've joined together. We'll see. We'll see if they provide their data or not. I think that the federal government could easily solve this by saying, okay, no data, no dollars.
Yeah, that's how I would handle it, right? Like
that's the easiest way to do it. That's why you should do it.
Like,
Okay,
you
of course,
turn
they're
around
going to
and
get the
say, we
Ninth Circus to
appreciate
come
that you
in.
want to help out your own citizens, but it is incumbent upon us to sit there and be accountable to the American taxpayer. If you do not provide the data, we will stop funding.
And then the Ninth Circus
it's
says, "Oh no, you have to provide that funding until this case is completed."
Well, I see they're going to challenge it, and this would be hilarious if it falls under this one. They might challenge it. If my memory serves, the case that defined it as being perfectly within the federal government's purview was when they decided that the drinking age should be 21 if you want any money for your highways.
And
it's just, and so most states have a drinking age of 21. I think it's 2 states that don't.
What 2 states don't?
That's the thing. I can't remember. There might be, maybe it was driving age is the other one.
No, you're correct. You're correct on the drinking age. That was.
Well, I know that's the highway money, but I think maybe it's the driving age I'm thinking of, where a couple states have exceptions on it, because it's the same thing where they tied it to the money. That the minimum driving age should be like 16 or whatever. I think there's a couple of them where you can get driving.
That's how I would have handled it. Is they shouldn't have fought it. They should have said, look, if you're not willing to provide us the data to go check and look for fraud, then we have to assume that fraud is being committed, and therefore we will no longer send funds. That's how they should have handled it.
And some people are getting upset over ICE sending in names to check for illegal aliens that have a detainer. And it's just like, if you're upset about that, let me help you out with all the other stuff that they send in from TSA to ICE already. TSA to the FBI. These guys are already stupid cozy with each other. And if you're upset about it now, where the fuck were you?
Yep.
I mean, it's the reason why people are not happy with them, and the fact that they're not an official police service or whatever. Like, they have a fancy badge on, but it's the double-digit IQ and the triple-digit income joke. It's like it's stupid because they aren't actually part. They aren't, like, the DHS has purview over them, and all they really do is get to fondle your nuts. Like, what the fuck are they doing besides security theater and giving you a free reach around?
Yeah, it's all theater.
It's because they let through 1 out of every 2 guns that comes through. That's a routine audit that's done, by the way, privately and federally. They have people that go through with guns.
That they do.
They catch half of them. Half.
As a matter of fact, I've even seen some. There's one guy did a YouTube video on it. Went through with like one of those blue guns, the plastic boys, and got right through. No issues at all.
Well, I mean, you should if you have a plastic gun, right?
Well, that's the thing. He went through what should have caught it.
No, because those X-ray scanners scan based on density of materials.
Exactly, and that
is but they also shows a shape. It still shows a shape on the screen. If the guy can't recognize the shape of a fucking gun.
He went through the look at you naked majigger that actually like shows those sort of things, and it didn't.
No, look at you naked. That just shows you a bulge. That's it. That's all it shows.
So they're supposed to check it physically.
Yes, they are.
And he got right through.
Did they not give him the right reach around? I mean, did they not? Did they scratch the left nut and not the right?
Well, anyway, I've got.
Make sure whenever you go through the TSA, if they ever give you a pat down, look to the left and cough.
Yeah, you might as well. They're getting in there. But I've got the end of the night coming up, fellas. So I don't want to keep it too long here.
Yeah.
So I've got one really great bit of news and then one very good bit of news. So I'll let you decide on which one's which. So we'll start with the science-y one. And that's going to be, in short, how to say it in short. Okay, artificial molecular biology. That is to say, mixing chemicals and making them produce energy and process things. Okay. Basically, create a synthetic cell. Long and short. It's not done per se, but it one of the key components has been done. The best way to say it is the title of the thing, Pure Makes Pure. Pure being, what the fuck is the thing short for?
Green.
It's like a basic starting point of like a chemical soup with some of the early like.
Okay. Some of the amino acids in it.
Yeah.
Or some of the base pairs.
Okay. Here we go. Ribosomes and tRNAs purified from E. coli, salts, amino acids, and energy storage molecules such as ATP, and then 36 other proteins necessary for the synthesis, but not a cell, just kind of a goop.
Stuff that would go in it. Got it.
But this goop is making something. Just to read just like the top point here. Together, these results
like a cell without the cell membrane in a beaker full of it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good way of describing it. Yeah, like a bunch of blended cells, kind of. Literally, like from a blender. But anyway, the high point here. Together, these results establish that the non-ribosomal protein components of the pure system can be self-regenerated, representing a critical step towards the realization.
So they didn't need a ribosome.
Yeah,
that's the really critical part there.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
It is. That's really neat. It's like we're getting
towards that's where primary transcription happens is at the ribosome. So if they found a way to do it in solution instead of within a Golgi body, that's pretty cool.
Very much so, I think. So that's one of our cool bits of news. Now the other is that somehow the man with the tan and the extra large shoes, and for some reason the slightly taller pompadour, for whatever reason, Vivek Ramaswamy, he made it all the way through Christmas without his annual Christmas crash out. Good job, Vivek. You did it.
He fucking jinxed it. He's gonna say something dumb now.
Oh yeah, the year hasn't ended. Oh no, I hope he does.
Wait, he has a Christmas crash out?
Oh, you didn't forget about last? You've already forgot about last year?
No. The H-1B visas wasn't really a crash. So I didn't forget about that.
I would hope not.
I remember it.
I would have called it a crash out.
I wouldn't have called it a crash out. I agree with the sentiment that he was expressing. He's just not the right messenger for that sentiment. And B.
Well, the thing is, Steve, you're a heritage American, so you get to hold those opinions.
That's what I mean by he's not the right messenger.
Yeah.
Right?
So, Vivek, fuck off. Thank you for fucking off this year. Much obliged. Fuck off from Ohio, too. Oh, by the way, he's cozying up with, like, Rokana and the slightly more moderate.
I'm starting to like Rokana.
Ro's okay as they go, but, you know.
I'm actually, like, I'm kind of impressed. Right? And the Epstein thing, like, I know he was working with Massey. I like Massey.
Massey's all right. We'll get him on here one of these days.
He was working with Massey pretty hard, and I doubt it. We're way too far off the beaten path for a senator.
I have talked with him, and he follows me. It's possible.
Oh. Well, that's very good. But I don't know. I like.
I never thought we'd get Aubrey de Grey, but I mean, fuck, here we are. You know.
Well, all you have to do is ask.
But yeah, I'm trying to clean up. So I'll just clean up the roller in a bit. I don't know. I think that would be difficult for him from points of views stated, jokes expressed. Kind of perspective.
Hey, Massey's a free speech guy. I don't see why I'd have any issues coming on here.
Free speech is sitting there and campaigning and championing free speech is different than confronting people who push that boundary.
Look, I'm not going to be talking about a bunch of wall jokes and you know how but the Rosensteins got what they had coming. You know, we'll have a polite conversation.
But I have started to really like Roe. I like the way he handled himself. I disagree with his solutions to everything and anything. But unlike a lot of the other Democrats, he's like, if the Democrats' average was at Roe and the Republicans' average was at Massey, that would be a fucking great situation for America.
Well, that would also be kind of the 50s. Let's be real.
Could be. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like they have drastically different viewpoints on a lot of things, but they can have a conversation. And I think that's more important, right? And I do think,
it would be nice if people could have those. Yeah.
I hope that Ilhan gets denaturalized and deported, right? I hope that they find the evidence and they do that because she's
not only would that be fair, that would also be incredibly funny.
Yes, but more importantly, it would be solving a serious
unifying.
problem. It'd be a unifying thing, right? Sure. The Dems would be upset. They'd throw their tantrum for 30 seconds, and then they'd, sit there and
find the next thing to complain about.
But again, it can't just be a petty thing. They have to nail her to the fucking cross. It would be great if they got her on both the marrying her brother and on not being an actual citizen, right? Or lying on her citizenship application. If they got her on both of those, then either one of them they could denaturalize her for, and nobody's going to be able to she's not going to be able to say boo, right? She's not going to be able to. She's not going to be a martyr, and that's what you don't want to create. You don't want to create martyrs. So you want to nail these people, but you got to do it in the most uniform and thorough way possible. And by the way, that's part of the problem the Dems had with going after Trump was they continuously the reason that Trump won in 2024 is because they went after him and they went after him hard and they went after him over nothing. And they did things that they got special privileges with prosecutors that nobody gets, right? Nobody gets summary judgment on a multi-billion dollar case. You don't get summary judgment there, right? That happened to Alex Jones and then it happened to Donald Trump. Now, Alex Jones, you can almost understand, right? Because he's a fucking nobody. But you're not going to do that to the president, the ex-president of the United States, regardless of how you feel about him, right? And especially not on a, hey, we have an argument over what the actual numerical value is type thing, right? That's not where that's going to be. It's going to be in an outright fraud claim, which that wasn't the case. So, I don't know. Getting rid of Ilhan Omar would be a great thing. But I like Roe. I think Roe's great. And
that's fair.
I hope he continues being great because he's the kind of Democrat that I wish was more front and center. I wish the thing is you can actually have a conversation,
like you were saying, man. You can have a conversation with someone like that, as opposed to you've got somebody that's across from you that hates you and wants you to die.
I mean, I watched him. He's been very, very careful in the trans discussions. Even if he holds those views, which I don't know if he does, he's very, very careful in not going too deep down. Again, the Democrats put out that what is it? Choosing to win packet. I don't know if you guys talked about that. I haven't been here in 2 weeks. So you guys saw the choosing to win packet, correct?
I think we've talked about it, not so much specifically, but more that they are trying to change kind of their direction because everything's failing and all of the representatives are alienating their base and that sort of thing.
So the DNC the TLDR is the DNC commissioned 2 social autopsies of the 2024 presidential campaign. One was choosing to win, and the other, once they got the results, they just buried the report. And they were very clear on it, and there's a lot of members of the DNC who are upset about it because the chairman of the DNC said something along the lines of, we just don't need to revisit the past. It was painful enough, yada, yada, yada. Let's look at the wins that we had. But the choosing to win social autopsy came out, and it showed on a list of about 20 different items that Americans don't trust the Democratic Party on the first 5 of them, and they're just they're intermittent on the next 5 of them, or next 10 of them, and then the last 5 of them, they get the strongest support, right? The highest thing, the thing that people in general trust Democrats the most on is LGBTQIA plus rights discussion. They're plus 10% approval on that, and that's the least important thing according to actual rankings and hierarchy of how they make decisions. So the Democrats have focused almost entirely, and everybody's told them this, right? Democrats are focused almost
entirely. They pretty much always do the 20 on the 80-20s.
Right. And that's where they've been focused, and that's where they've been going. And, yeah, it's starting to show up in their polls. I missed a couple spots. I'll do touch-ups tomorrow. As the shit's drying, I'm seeing where my mistakes are. This is why it's been so hard for me to finish this room. I'm fucking overly perfectionist.
Well, you got to be happy with your home repairs and everything, because you got to live with it at the end of the day. So it's kind of better.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, so they did that, and then the point of the whole entire thing was they're focused on all these 80-20. Their focus is on things that people generally don't support, and their focus is on things that don't generally matter. And so that was the first one. I don't know what the second social autopsy is. Nobody's going to know because it got buried by the chairman's desk. So my guess is it was fucking scathing.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like
everything you're doing is alienating everyone. Stop it.
Yeah. And basically, and this is a greater problem in politics, by the way. Campaigns do not run on anything other than most campaigns are based off of like how you generally vibe at the moment on some stuff, and so they don't like to change their messaging, which is why problems don't generally get solved, because it's most convenient to all of the parties involved to keep the same issues alive forever. Because if they're still alive as issues, then you don't have anything to worry about.
Well, hence the NRA being such an old organization.
Yep.
Yes, sir. You'd think that they'd have been able to get their remit done in all that time. Well, no rush, fellas. No rush at all. Oh, just a quick reminder, by the way, of one of those individuals that I'd mentioned, Theory Britain. One of the sanctioned individuals who can't come to America. Fuck you, Theory. Ha ha. Anyway, he is the guy that said, and I quote, this is in relation to the elections, which we covered this a couple of times. We did it in Romania, and we will do it in Germany, if necessary. That being in regards to, they had an election. Oh, we don't like the results. You're going to have it again. Well, we still don't like the results, so we're just going to ignore them. I'm paraphrasing, but that's literally what happened.
Yeah, no, I know that was what happened. I thought that got sorted out, though.
No.
No?
Oh, it did. The European Union sorted it all out.
And what was their sorting?
They were right the whole time. And Romania was just wrong.
So who is running Romania? Who won the election?
Whoever they wanted.
Yeah, the EU candidate. Not George Castro. I'm sure I butchered that name, but not the candidate who won. They installed their person.
Got it.
But
did they ever express a reason as to why that was?
No.
Well, they must have.
Why would they explain themselves to their lessers? So no. And you know what? Since we're kind of hitting a weird spot, let's close on one last happy story here. I don't know if it'll be happy, but it's good news, definitely. Even if things are very weird there. So out of California, of all places, we've got a little bit of good news involving families and schools, of all things. The three of those things together, you don't hear that very often. So there was a district court deal between a guy by the name of Mark Olson and he was the head of the board of education, and it was an Elizabeth Mirabelli and Lori Allen West, as well as a couple others that were in the class action. So the federal judge ruled that the exclusion policies that the schools had put into place are no longer legal. Long and short, the teachers cannot keep secrets from parents. So they can't be like, hey, you're actually a boy. Or, I remember how you said that one time you're a boy and not a girl. let's keep going with that. I won't tell your parents. No, they have to do that now. Reading from that, parental exclusion policies create a trifecta of harm. They harm the child who needs parental guidance. They harm the parents by depriving them of the right to care, guide, and make healthcare decisions for their children. And finally, they harm the teachers who are compelled. Yes. Yes, indeed.
You're damn right, because the follow-up is the harm the teacher is going to receive.
Oh, true. Yeah, well, there's a very potential fallout there.
I always thought that the best solution, like in general, I think the best solution is liability. And this is one of the bigger problems that I think ends up happening. I think the regulations should be suggestions, but if you don't follow them, it's a liability, right? If somebody can prove that you've done harm, not just violated the regs, but prove that you did harm, then you're liable for whatever harm you did. And that would I think, well, that was weird. That would, I think, solve a lot of problems. Same thing's true for the schools. If you turn around and said, that's perfectly fine if you want to keep this secret from the parents and the kids want to get trans, but then you're liable for the healthcare costs of the child, you're liable for any other future costs, and in the event that the child detransitions, you are liable for damages. You know how quickly this would get solved? You know how quickly the teachers would stop this? Because nobody would want that liability.
Yeah, damn right.
It's a self-correcting problem if you just allow for liability. The problem was not that we made a rule saying that parents could or teachers could do this. The problem was that we didn't say, yeah, you can do that, but you're liable for any outcomes. You're liable for all costs. And by the way, that's not going to be covered by your insurance, so it's going to be out of pocket. So if you really believe that, power to you. Enjoy. Have fun. I don't think that that's how they would want to have that end up. So I think it'd be a self-correcting problem.
Maybe.
It'd certainly take a couple of court cases, but it would be pretty fucking funny in the meantime.
It would be very fucking funny.
Well, speaking of federal court cases, this is something that we have been reporting on and we'll keep up with. But Smartmatic and Dominion, a lot of things are being learned about these, and they're quite literal connections in the machines to Huawei and Chinese data centers because they, yes, had modems and network access.
How about that?
And they did things with it. What they did, don't know. We don't know because the machines were destroyed or recoded or hidden away.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll keep an eye on that. And, we'll also let you know if Tina Peters is released from, her illegal confinement. Because she is still locked up for the things that she revealed. But, hey, we don't want to close on a bad note, so we won't. We'll just let everybody know that there's actually progress on a number of these things. That rare breed trigger is stupid, and that, there'll be more on that. But rare breed is stupid. And so is Anthony Albanese. And so is everybody with the last name Albanese, apparently.
I did not expect that to be such a widespread phenomenon.
Right? How the fuck did that happen? But anyway, that's, I guess that's about that for now. Was there anything else you fellas were wanting to cover before we call it a night?
No, I think that's it.
Alrighty. Well,
just set off a print and then get in the bed.
Alrighty. Well then, you guys have yourself a nice evening and a happy new year. And of course, that goes out to all the guys and gals. And, well, if you're not one of those, then I don't understand how you found this show. But anyway, thanks for listening. So be well, be safe in the end of this year, into the next one. We'll be back again real soon. And of course, you can find me. I'm Evan at That Fake Guy Dan. You can find Steve at Ratman720, and you can find Craig at CraigBob99 at most of the places. And of course, make sure you're following, make sure you're interacting, leaving the comments, sharing the shows, and well, more than that, make sure you're around for the next one.
Make sure you're enjoying them.
Well, that's easy.
If not, tell us why.
Yeah. Well, fair. But, if you're not enjoying them, Well, you need to tell all your friends who would enjoy so that they can enjoy it instead on your behalf. See, everybody wins.
There you go.
Absolutely right. Win, win. Hold on, I'm getting a page. No, just kidding. No explosions here. So, that's going to always be good. Anyway, you fellas, Happy New Year. Listeners, Happy New Year to you as well. Hope you had a great and Merry Christmas and whatever real holidays again that you celebrate. And go into this new year with a lot of positive vibes. And maybe even the idea that things are going to keep on getting a little bit better. And with that, be well, be safe out there. Talk to you again soon.